All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I don't know if I jinxed myself or what, but the other day when I made a video, I mentioned about I don't have much trouble out of this old truck. Well, I lost something. And we're going to put it back on this morning. Now, I know this is something minor and stupid, and I'm sure there's people got plenty of videos out here on this, but you know what? I said I bring everybody along when I done stuff, so here we are, the biggest or the littlest, and this is little, but you know, it's a good thing to do. And first of all, I'll go ahead and by starting saying I've already done this, you know. It wouldn't hurt to do it twice. Take your little applicator you want to put on your button and stuff, you know, on the area, and then you can see this is scratched already. And speaking of scratched, you want to make sure you clean these things really good. See on the top there, I've already scraped and everything. It's good and clean on top. Yeah, look at that. And then there, which now that has been already scratched on purpose. Let me get you a little close up if I can. It's early in the morning, so the dew's on. I had to do this once about 10 years ago. And in a minute I'll tell a little story on that. They recommend that this is the JB Weld kit. What did I do with the box? Oh, don't mind the mess. I gotta clean that stuff. This one, yeah. I've never used this one before, but it come highly recommended. And I do have to say I've been pretty happy with the JB products over the years. It's been my experience, the people that don't like them and the people that gripe about them are usually the ones that use them how they're not supposed to be used, and then it still fails, like everything else in the world. But for their proper application and for what they're supposed to be used for, I have had excellent. To me, they make the best super glue in the world. If you ever see that JB Super Weld super glue, oh my God, it's the bomb. Anyway, get your stuff clean, get your button clean, get the spot on the mirror clean. Now, typically you want to mark these, but where this one's already scratched, I know where it's going to go, and it don't have to be perfect anyway, because this is an adjustable, so I don't have to be too persnickety with it. You know, someone put tape on this thing years ago and it left that awful mark, but it still works pretty good. I mean, I can see out of it fine. It's original to the truck, so I mean, it's not technically broke, so I don't guess I'll replace it until it 100% needs it. Alright, then after 2 minutes, you're supposed to let it sit for 2 minutes. Then we're going to take our adhesive here, and when you open this, you will have to cut it open, pocket knife or something, because it's got one of them annoying plastic seal tabs. Alright, so we're going to take this, and you want one drop right in the center, about like that. Okay, you don't want to go too crazy. Then you want to make sure the button is upright, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it, and you can see that it's already kind of wiggled around, and we're going to hold it here for 2 minutes. Yeah, I'd say that's adequate. Now while we're While we're waiting here, I'll give y'all a little story. 10 years, I mentioned I had to do this 10 years ago. First got the truck. I had it for about 3 months. And this same thing happened. The hot weather come and the sun started beating down on her and, you know, what have you, stinking mirror come off. Well, at the time, our local Chrysler dealer was still in the old building that it had been in since 1967 or, well, I'm not 100% sure, so I better not say, but it had been there since at least the 60s. But there was an old guy in there that had worked there, and he was a super cool dude. I miss him so much. But he had worked there since 1969. Now, mind you, this place closed down in 2016. So he worked there from 1969 to 2016. Super cool dude. And I went in there and he was telling me this story. I told him, I was like, hey man, I was like, I need some adhesive. I need one of them little kits for the rear view mirror. And he told me, he said, it come off windshield, didn't it? I was like, yeah. He said, well, I've got a good one in here. Of course, it was the factory Mopar branded stuff, which I don't know if Mopar actually made it. It's probably made by Permatex or somebody. But anyway, he gives it to me and he tells me this story at the parts counter. He said, I sold one of these little kits to this same little lady 8 straight times in a row in a half a year's time. And I told him, I said, well, what in the world? I said, what's the significance of that? And he told me this story. He said, well, she kept coming in here. He said, the first time she come in here, he said, every time she come in, he said, she was holding the mirror. And he said, I sold it to her. He said, even a couple times, I actually went out there and did it for her. He said, I applied it and laid it on there, and we come back in here and got a pop and whatever. I said, I done it for her. He said, 8 different times, man. And he said, the last time I said, ma'am, he said, what are you doing? And she went out there, he said, show me what you're doing when you get in the car after they done it again. And what she was doing is she was in one of them little bitty 4-door cars, and she was getting in the car and she was grabbing the rear view mirror as a handle to pull herself inside the car. So she was putting her body weight on the rear view mirror. Well, no wonder. And I thought that was funny, and that stuck with me all these years. But anyway, he was telling me about this kid. He said the last time, he said they had the kit that he sold me, the fancy OEM Mopar one, and he told me, he said, the last time I done it, he said, it lasted the longest. He said it went about 2 months after this had all occurred. And he said, she come back in one day and he said, I'm telling you the truth. He said, she had the mirror in her hand, same as always, and it had a little glass stuck all the way around it. And I laughed. I'll never forget that. All right, so there we go. You want to hold that on there for at least 2 minutes, and it's already starting to set up. Let me get you all around shot here. All right, now, the box says that the set time, and also, speaking of which, I want to crack some of these windows so this condensation don't mess with it, is an hour, 1 solid hour. Now, I'm off today, and I've got a couple errands to run. I'm just going to let this thing sit here all day, and then when I know for a fact it's set up good and well, then I can come back and just slide her on. And this one's got the little screw that snugs it down, but it just, simple, slides over, tighten the thing down, adjust to where needed. The bam, done. Oh, and man, I need to clean, don't I? Whew, goodness. Some of it's just out of organization, but some of it's just garbage. Shame on me, huh? Alright guys, that's it. That's how to put a rear view mirror on. So stay tuned till next time to weird and strange and stupid things happen to the truck, and no matter how big or small, y'all gonna ride along. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.